Yeah. What's going on? Top of the morning on one of my many Facebook pages. But when my ban gets lifted July 11th, I'm gonna shut all this shit down. I'm gonna shut it all down. I'm gonna just only have one page. But yesterday we just got some news. Some are happy about it, and some are upset about it. And Bill Cosby, like a few weeks after his parole was denied because he refused to take sex offender treatment because he proclaims himself to be innocent. A few weeks after his parole denial, his case was overturned. And from what I gather, I didn't really get too deep into the case. But from what I gathered, I guess some information or testimony was used from a civil suit against him in the criminal suit. And if I'm not mistaken, the deal was the prosecution agreed not to use any of that testimony or something to that degree, and they still did. And that was one of the major things that got him convicted. And once they brought it to the higher courts saw that the prosecution reneged on their deal, and ultimately they overturned it. Now, it's some deep shit. I was watching, I think, Lovely T, and she goes really, really deep into it. And basically, ultimately, she's saying how Bill Cosby just has like similar ties and connection to Jeff Epstein. And it's just some real, he used to live across the street from him or some, it's just some real, if you want to watch like some real deep stuff on it, go to Lovely T's YouTube channel. And that's Lovely, L-O-V-L-E-Y-T-I. But anyway, I'm not even here to address if he's guilty or if he's innocent. I've proclaimed my stance for years. Ultimately, everybody's opinion on this situation is literally an opinion. Nobody was there. Most people don't even know any of these women. Nobody was in the rooms. We're basically just going off of information that we're receiving from the media, and either you can accept it, you know what I'm saying, or not accept, but either you receive it in one way that makes you believe that he's innocent, or you receive it in another way and you believe that Bill Cosby is guilty. But I've always said, as much like, because Bill Cosby was pretty much famous, like, when was he born? 37, 47, 57. Bill Cosby was famous since like the late 50s, early 60s. You know, and a lot of people allege that like a lot of these rapes or alleged sexual assaults happened during that time. And it's just like, black people were getting hung and executed for things that they didn't do. Hurricane Reuben Carter, that's an example of that. And he got hung in the 60s. Emmett Till, that was like late 50s, early 60s. I don't know the specific date. But Emmett Till was another. Just countless others were hung. Countless other black folk were hung and mistreated by the justice system, or just lynched in general during that time. And you mean to tell me there's this one exceptional black man that was able to rape 40 or 50 white women during the 60s, when you got guys like Emmett Till that got beat to death for allegedly whistling at a woman? And you mean to tell me 40 or 50 white women didn't snitch on a black man during the 1950s or 1960s? So that logic is what made me look at it with the side eye, not give a full opinion if he did it or not. Because you can't tell me that as many black folks that were hung during the 60s and just railroaded, you can't tell me that there was just one exceptional black man where all of a sudden no white women wanted to tell on and white women felt afraid of and felt powerless to. They didn't have no brothers, no fathers, no uncles, no hillbilly white dudes that had crushes on them that they couldn't tell on. But you got a woman telling on a young boy, alleging that he whistled at her or looked at her a funny way in the store, and so these guys go out and they pick up Chuck and beat him to death. You mean to tell me like Bill Cosby was this strange exception during the 1960s? I don't believe that. Now, and I said this before also. If Bill Cosby was guilty of anything, man, this dude just had a wife, and as Kevin Samuels says, if you're a high value man, the high value men don't cheat. They just exercise their options, and he exercised his options. He just didn't play the game right. You know, we start lying to women, because what I heard, you know, he would make a lot of promises and saying, I'm gonna get you this, I'm gonna get you that, I'm gonna get you in this pilot, I'm gonna get you in this TV show, what have you. You know, a lot of times cats use their fame and they make a lot of empty promises just to get the buns. And when the woman finds out that she was had, and she's embarrassed by the situation, naturally, you know, they're gonna lash out at you. And however they do it, some will get their brothers to fuck you up. Some will steal from you. Some will probably kill you. Some will accuse you of sexual assault. When you bring deceit into the game, the dating world, you open yourself up for all sorts of injurious things that could potentially happen to you. You know, and for him to be such a womanizer, there's no way Camille didn't know. Like, she knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? He just played the game wrong, you know, ultimately. And also, like, when you're a self-righteous individual, constantly telling folks how to be, and you give this perception of being morally upstanding, when it comes out that you have skeletons in your closet, well, first of all, a lot of people just don't like that type of individual. A lot of people don't like a condescending individual in general. So there are a lot of people that are looking for ways to take you down, and they will go to the point of getting a lot of individuals to corroborate the story in order to take you down, you know, or in another respect, basically anything negative that they hear about you, they believe without any proof, because they don't like you as it is, you know. But just not liking somebody just because you don't like how they speak or because they're condescending, that's not like a major justification to really hate somebody. So when you hear that they did something egregious, of course you're gonna back. Like, what did 50 Cent say in Power when he was talking to Tariq about Ghost? He said everything they said he did that shit. That's the mentality that a lot of these individuals have, you know. But I say all that to say this, like, my logic goes with the whole 1950s and 60s and how so many of us got hung and how so many of us got railroaded and assassinated over bullshit. And you mean to tell me a black man was able to rape 50 white women in a passive aggressive way, like allegedly drugging them, sometimes some coming back more than once, and no white woman told on him back then? But you got Reuben Carter getting set up, Emmett Till getting set up. I think Medgar Evers was assassinated. Whatever. That's what makes me. Do I think Bill Cosby is an ultimate upstanding citizen? No, he was a scumbag. He was a womanizer. He was condescending. But do I think he was this sadistic rapist that got away with rape in the 1950s? Just a lot of people corroborating the story. That's not enough for me to believe that. So no, I personally don't believe that. That's my personal opinion. But I didn't go on this crusade backing up Bill Cosby and trying to profess his innocence as if I was actually there. And we see this on the flip side from a lot of black folks. They say black people, we are our own worst enemy because out of all different groups, we just don't stay on code. Whenever it's black issues or whenever it's a black scumbag or just a black person going through some shit, we will get on white platforms and other platforms and trash that black person instead of keeping it in the house and having ourselves deal with it with that black individual without bringing it to white platforms. And it's this one crazy thing, like, black people will hop up immediately and tear down a black person that's going through some shit without necessarily having 100% of the facts and not necessarily being there. And they say, yeah, he did it, fuck that motherfucker. And they'll have all this vitriol and anger and fervor against that individual. But you look at these black individuals, I'm telling you, I can almost guarantee this shit. Look at these black individuals that hate Bill Cosby so much and have so much negative to say about him. And it's a certain type of women, it's a certain type of individuals that I constantly see. It's usually lesbian black women that got the most to say about the shit, and simp black men. And it's more than that, but that's like a common recurring thing that I see. But you do a name search of these individuals, right, that have like so much to say about Bill Cosby. You type their name in on social media, you do a name search, so you put their name coupled with like a Derek Chauvin, coupled with but Derek Chauvin just recently happened within a year, so you can get a pass. But it's mad, it's mad race soldiers that took out innocent black folks. So you can go all the way far back. Do a name search with them and George Zimmerman. Do a name search with them and Dylan Roof. A lot of times they didn't have anything to say about these heinous individuals, especially like Dylan. Derek Chauvin was obviously a scumbag. He was just an overzealous cop that got his ass whooped and fucking panicked and killed somebody. Definitely a scumbag, definitely wrong, because he tried to monetize and sell a gun, get autographs and with Skittles and tea in his hand, taking pictures. So he's a fucking asshole. But Derek Chauvin, that's just on a whole nother level of evil. Like, dude went to a black church service, prayed with some black people in the church. They welcomed him into the church. Walked out of the church and was like, yeah, I wasn't almost going to do it because they're so nice. Went back in, aired the motherfucking church out. And you got black people that was like trying to like two sick things. Black people like, no, oh, we should just forgive him. You don't see black people saying, oh, we should forgive Bill Cosby. We got some folks that just support him. It's not even about forgiving him. It's some black folks that don't believe that he did it. He did the shit at all. And you got like black folks just not even mentioning, like, there's no way in hell you can talk shit and condemn Bill Cosby as a black person if you've never done that with like Derek Chauvin, George Zimmerman, or especially Dylan Roof. And Derek Chauvin was bad too, because that shit was like live on camera, but like the energy and like the smoke and the heat that I see a lot of our people giving towards Bill Cosby, man. You don't see that towards like these other race soldiers ever. Why is that? Why is it so easy for us to like destroy our own people, bro? I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. And it's pretty sad. And the thing is, a lot of our black folks that do this, a lot of times they don't even realize they're doing this shit. It is just automatic, and it's inside of our DNA to destroy our own people, yo. Leave that to the white folks and the race soldiers to tear us down. Now, if there was video evidence and he was blatantly doing, you know what I'm saying, like we knew for beyond the shadow of a doubt that he was doing it, then definitely you're justified in calling him an asshole, scumbag, blah, blah, blah. But even in that situation, if we got video evidence of Bill Cosby doing what he do, right? And you say what you say about him, but you still never make a post about Derek Chauvin. You never made a post about George Zimmerman. You've never made a post about Dylan Roof. That's self-hate, man. We get attacked enough by just like white folks tearing us down and railroading us, and they're gonna do what they do against our people, whether they get guilty or innocent. We don't have to help white folks in tearing down black people, even if they really did that shit, unless it's something that directly happened to you and your family, like obvious. But to just go on these social media platforms and form such a crusade against black folks and our heroes when we don't necessarily have 100% of the information, but you never say anything about Dylan Roof. You never say anything about Derek Chauvin. You never said anything about George Zimmerman. You never went this hard. You never said, well, and if y'all feel the way y'all feel, you don't got to be my friends no more. You never did that against anybody. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but it's anybody that fits this description. You got to really question how much you love yourself, how much you love your blackness, how much you love black men, because it's usually us attacking black men, period. We're the fucking butts of society, man. And like I said, if he did it, if what he did is true, then he deserves all the negativity that he has coming to him for the rest of his days. But I just don't personally believe that a black man could get away, a black man with that public of a face in the fucking 1960s could get away with that much egregious shit with no repercussions until he's in his 80s. Now, when you got motherfucking Emmett Till that got killed at like 14 or 15 years old, and he literally didn't do nothing. So the man that didn't do anything in the 60s, a boy, not a man, a young teenage boy who didn't do shit in the 60s, got beat to fucking death by white people over nothing. And years later, the white lady admitted that she was lying. But allegedly there was this black predator monster who was like the goody two-shoes comedian, raped 50, 60 people, and they was afraid to tell on the black comic that white people don't like. White people don't like black folks. So they was afraid to tell on him, and you can't say, oh, because he had so much power and he had money and influence. Reuben Carter was the damn near the heavyweight champion of the world, had money, power, influence, and adoration and fans, and they took that motherfucker down for 30 years for a murder that he didn't commit. So you can't use that as excuse. I call bullshit on that, but I don't 100% know. I call bullshit on the evidence that they have thus far. I don't know. Like, I'm not giving my opinion or if I think he's innocent or he's guilty, but with what was presented to me so far and knowing the time of the 60s, I don't believe that he did that. I believe he was definitely a scumbag, cheating on his wife, playing the game wrong, lying to his bitches. You know, like the first rule of being a pimp and a player is don't lie to these hoes. Tell them the truth. That's the first thing off top. And obviously that's a rule that he broke. And when you lie to people, that it just opens you up for the type of shit that he's going through. But for a lot of our black people to just have so much energy and so much smoke towards Bill Cosby, but not having smoke towards Dylann Roof, George Zimmerman, and Derek fucking Chauvin, we just can't stay on cold. That shit. This is why we at the bottom of the barrel. We can't stay on cold. It's like, even if you really believe that, the fact that he did it, the fact that you don't really 100% know should be enough for you not to go on these crusades of crucifying black men just because you don't like black men. To go on this, yeah, have your opinion, but ultimately you don't really know for 100% fact. But what I do know is black people got railroaded like a motherfucker in the 60s. And I find it hard to believe that a black person, like innocent black people got railroaded in the 60s. I find it extremely hard to believe that a guilty black person got off with just raping over 50 people in the motherfucking 1960s. I just find that hard to believe, so I'm not gonna go on that crusade. Have I made crazy posts against Derek Chauvin and George Zimmerman? I think I have, but I don't really make crazy crusade posts against anybody. I try to stay objective, and I try not to give like too much opinions on certain situations if I wasn't necessarily there. But Dylann Roof was definitely the epitome of evil. I think I've made this comparison before to other people that were other black folks that was getting crucified by black people, but they never made, they never crucified Derek Chauvin or Dylann Roof or George Zimmerman. So I've made posts like similar to that. But I just call bullshit, man. Like, our own people are the easiest to destroy from our own people. We are definitely our own worst enemy, whether it's shooting each other in the streets, talking shit about each other, or crucifying each other in media and social media and various media platforms. It's just pretty sad. And if you're a person that's doing this, and you probably don't even realize that you're doing it, just recognize, just have I'm not telling you what to do, but all I'm saying is, like, have the same smoke for these white motherfuckers that's taking down innocent people, innocent black folks. Have that same energy, have that same fervor. I hope to see it. And I saw some of the names that was talking shit about Bill Cosby. I did name searches with them and all these famous white race soldiers, and no results. I'll holler at y'all. Hashtag everybody need more green. Peace.